Egyptian Mythology, Ancient Culture, Beliefs, and Traditions. 2-in-1 combo. Written by Xena Ronin. Narrated by Ashlynne Carey. Egyptian Mythology. Legends about princes and princesses in ancient Egypt. By Xena Ronin. Narrated by Ashlynne Carey. Chapter 1. Ancient Egyptian Symbols. Religion in ancient Egypt was completely integrated into people's daily life. The deities existed at an individual's birth, throughout someone's life, in the transition from earthly life to the eternal, and continued the care of the soul in the afterlife of the field of reeds. The spiritual world was ever present in the physical world, and this understanding was signified through pictures in art, architecture, in amulets, statuary, and the things used by nobility and clergy in the efficiency of their tasks. Signs in a largely illiterate civilization serve the crucial purpose of communicating the most important values of the civilization to the people, generation after generation. And so it was in ancient Egypt. The peasant farmer wouldn't have been able to read the literature, poetry, or hymns which told the stories of his gods, kings, and history, but could use an obelisk or a relief on a temple wall and read them through the signs used. Ankh, Dej, and Waz. The three most important symbols, often appearing in all manner of Egyptian artwork from amulets to architecture, were the Ankh, the Dej, and the Waz scepter. These were often combined in engravings and often appeared on sarcophagi, together in a group or independently. In the case of each of these, the form represents the everlasting value of the idea. The Ankh represented life, the Dej stability, the Waz power. Scholar Richard H. Wilkinson, noting the significance of form as function, relates the following. Quote, "An unknown but remarkable engraving made at the command of the pharaoh Thutmose IV records the discovery of the stone. The importance of this popular stone lay not in its being of rare material or appearance, the engraving tells us, but as His Majesty found the stone in the shape of a godly hawk. That an Egyptian king must put so much value on a mere rock simply because of its shape is useful, for it demonstrates how alert the old Egyptian was to the shapes of items and to the symbolic importance which the dimension of form could hold." End quote. The Ankh. The Ankh is a cross with a looped top, which besides the principle of life, also symbolized eternal life, the morning sun, the male and female concepts, the paradises and the earth. Its form embodied these ideas in its key-like shape. In carrying the Ankh, one was holding the key to the tricks of existence. The union of revers, male and a woman, earth and heaven, and the extension of earthly life to eternal, time to eternity, were all represented in the form of the looped cross. The sign was so powerful and so long-lived in Egyptian society, dating from the early dynastic period in Egypt, circa 3150 to 2613 BCE, that it is not a surprise it was appropriated by the Christian faith in the 4th century CE as a symbol for their god. Chain of Ankhs. The beginning of the Ankh symbol is unidentified, but Egyptologist E. A. Wallace Budge claims it might have developed from the Tet, the knot of Isis, a similar sign with the arms at the sides related to the goddess. Female deities were as popular and seem to be considered more powerful, as in the example of the goddess Neith, in the early history of Egypt, and perhaps the Ankh did develop from the Tet, but this notion isn't generally accepted. The Ankh was more closely associated with the cult of Isis, however, and as her appeal grew, so did that of the symbol. Many different gods are depicted holding the Ankh, and it appears together with the Dej symbol, in essentially each sort of Egyptian artwork, from sarcophagi to burial place paintings, palace accessories, statuaries, and engravings. As an amulet, the Ankh was practically as well known as the scarab and the Dej.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?